Hello, y'all. So I am very tired, but yeah. We are currently up here in Michigan. We are currently getting hit by the north, far northern part of the southern snowstorm or ice storm, whatever you want to call it. Up here through Michigan, through generally southeast Michigan, we're supposed to get 3 to 5 inches generally. Some spots maybe 6 to 10. I don't know. Or 5 to 8 in farther southeast spots. But this ice storm that is happening for Texas, Oklahoma, Arkansas, Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina, Virginia, West Virginia, Maryland, Southern PA, Delaware, New Jersey, New York, Connecticut, Rhode Island, Massachusetts, Kentucky, Tennessee. I feel bad for everybody. Especially for a fellow YouTuber named Crick Diggers. He lives in Maryland, so I hope he survives this because he is literally in the heart of the ice, or the sleet at least. Which, even if he only gets sleet, that's pretty bad. But on the backside, he does eventually get snow. And then we could get another polar vortex to come down. Which could cause a brief southern snowstorm for Texas and Louisiana. And maybe Mississippi. But then we finally go on a warm up around the 6th with a jet stream like that, which is very welcomed. But the subjet is gonna be like this. So generally, we're gonna have a ridge through here, trough through here, then a ridge through here. Generally. Here's the North Atlantic. This ice storm could strengthen up as it heads just south of Nova Scotia and Newfoundland. And then as it goes out here, it could strengthen up more. But this model run only shows it getting down to 972, just south of the south coast of Newfoundland. But Newfoundland ain't out of the picture because they could get another system that will be at 974. And then we get a fronduced low right here that phases with this clipper that dives down generally. And this goes like this. It forms up a low, of course. Gets a warm front. Definitely gets a cold front. This already has a couple cold fronts and a warm front. So you already knows that these two are gonna phase or do the Fujiwara effect of sorts. And we could have a bomb cyclone for Newfoundland. And a rather strong one to be at that. Definitely will have outflow. Relative humidity, yeah, there is definitely a front. That's what the fronts look like. And I am watching through here because we do get a surge of moisture in the Caribbean, not once, but twice. And we can check that with the Canadian. Well, first we're going to check the low pressure systems. The Canadian shows this generally in the same area as the GFS, but slightly stronger at 970 just to the south, and then 969 to the east of Newfoundland. And then shows that southern system does get a weak low pressure, but that heads generally towards the Yucatan Peninsula and Belize and Nicaragua and Honduras and Guatemala and Mexico also. And then it forms up another low pressure through here. Sorry for a wonky low pressure. There we go. Gets a warm front. Probably another low, another warm front. Cold front, cold front. Low, low, cold front, warm front. So yeah. This system becomes well organized also. Low, cold front, occluded front, cold front, warm front. Matter of fact, let me zoom out. So low, cold front, occluded front, cold front, warm front. warm front generally, and then high pressure, low, low right there, and then high pressure on the back side. So yeah. Moisture, as I expected. A plume of moisture getting picked up by this system. Tropical moisture for sure goes north and into the warm front. But then that tropical moisture could generally maybe start to get spin and maybe form up something as it heads towards Nicaragua and Honduras. But that's very unlikely because it's January going into February. But it is definitely something to watch. And finally, the Euro. And I'm going to the 12Z, by the way. Crazy thing is, the Euro sees a majorly massive area of moisture out here, but nothing in the Caribbean until at least the second. A very elongated and weak plume of moisture. And then maybe a weaker one right there. And I'm not trying to scare anybody, but dang it. I am watching this. Because as you can see, it gets that bear clinic look. Like the unnamed subtropical storm did back in 2023. You can somewhat see the resemblance. Now let's check the the mesoscale models to see what they're showing. And yes, we are supposed to get another clipper to roll through. So, inches for the north central. For the first system, roughly 19 inches in the central part of Indiana. 13 to 5, or roughly 14, or 13 to 19, or 13 to 20 inches in the central part of Indiana. Central part of Ohio, generally 13 to 17 inches. Now, Indiana, or Indianapolis and northwest, and maybe a little west, and the northeast is anywhere from 12 inches to about 5 inches or less. And then northern Ohio is generally anywhere from about 7 to 12 inches. Now, there is a pretty big cutoff in the amounts that we get in Michigan. Basically, anywhere in this south of this line is going to get 4+ inches. Anywhere north gets 4 or less inches. But then we get that second system, and it only brings maybe a dusting, if that. Now, I'm a bit concerned for the northeast. This is snowfall totals. All this green is 13+ inches. So yeah, guys, please be careful. Plus, for Maryland, Western Maryland is roughly 10 inches to 10 to 5, or 5 to 10 inches. And then Central and Eastern Maryland is, so Central and Eastern Maryland is generally about 1 to 6 inches generally. Now, far southeastern Maryland is 1 to 3 inches. If it's generous enough. But I have to